In 1973, 4 bank employees were held at gunpoint in a Stockholm vault for 6 days. But when the police finally broke through, the hostages shielded their captor from the bullets. During those 131 hours under the control of a convicted criminal, they ended up defending his actions and even raising money for his legal defense. This strange psychological bond is actually a survival mechanism that plays out in office cubicles every Monday morning. Somewhere in your current workplace, a specific type of leader is using a hidden set of social tricks to make you defend their worst decisions, and you probably don't even realize it. We begin with the commander who can't let go of the steering wheel, even when the car is parked. Micromanagers want to watch your cursor move across the screen in real time. Every 9:05 a.m., they'll send a message to ask if you received the email they sent 2 minutes earlier. If you change a single word in a report, they will schedule a 30-minute meeting to discuss the difference between perhaps and maybe. Fear of any mistake they didn't personally authorize drives them to treat your expertise as a threat. But just when you think constant surveillance is the worst way to run a team, you meet their exact opposite. The absentee boss is a ghost in a designer suit. They exist primarily as a signature on expense reports and an out-of-office reply that has been active since last Tuesday. Usually, you only hear from them when a client screams loud enough to shake the building, at which point they will briefly materialize to ask why nobody warned them. Self-direction is their favorite buzzword, which is really just a polite term for letting the ship steer itself while they practice their golf swing. When you ask for guidance on a critical decision, they reply with a thumbs-up emoji that leaves you guessing for 3 days. Such a vacuum of leadership is usually filled by someone who inherited their position rather than earning it. Nepo Hire bosses are easy to spot because their last name matches the letters on the front of the building. They arrived at the company as a vice president straight out of college, armed with a degree and a leased sports car. Commutes are spent listening to podcasts, supplying them with buzzwords to explain a job they've never actually done. 20 years of functional systems are suddenly subjected to revolutionary changes, only to be abandoned when the plan requires reading a spreadsheet. Correcting them is a career-ending move, so you all nod and smile while they explain how to do your own job. Yet their easy life has a strange side effect, creating an environment where bad news is completely outlawed. Toxic positivity bosses believe that a bad attitude is the only real threat to productivity. Whenever the budget is cut by 40% and 2 team members quit, they will tell you to look at it as an exciting growth opportunity. Success posters cover the office walls, completely ignoring the fact that the actual building has a leaking roof. Meetings start with a mandatory gratitude circle, forcing exhausted employees to share a personal win before they can go back to work. Burnout concerns are met with a link to a meditation app and a gentle reminder to choose happiness. Although this forced optimism is exhausting, it is nothing compared to the raw pressure of a boss who never goes home. Founder bosses build their companies from a garage and expect you to treat the business with the same religious devotion. To them, a 40-hour work week is a part-time job for slackers. Sunday emails arrive at 2:15 a.m., and they'll genuinely wonder why you didn't reply by 2:30, having sacrificed everything for the business. They can't understand why you won't do the same for a salary that barely covers your rent. Still, amid this relentless drive, there is another type of leader who focuses entirely on your growth, sometimes to a fault. Mentor bosses hope to guide your soul as much as your career. Each minor task becomes a profound teaching moment, turning a simple spreadsheet update into a 2-hour lecture on business philosophy. Questions about your 5-year plan and check-ins on your emotional well-being feel supportive, until you realize you are hours behind on deadlines. Their dream is to be the hero in your career story, the wise figure you thank when you accept your Lifetime Achievement Award. But their guidance comes with a hidden price, because it is hard to grow when someone is constantly adjusting your soil. The credit stealer is a master of corporate translation. Private meetings are where you present your brilliant ideas, only to receive a few minor criticisms designed to dampen your enthusiasm. By the next day, they are presenting that exact same concept to the executive board, using the word I instead of we. Slide work you stayed up all night designing becomes their stage, and they'll smile as they take the praise for a strategy they didn't create. If the project fails, they blame your execution, but the real mystery is why they can never decide who is actually responsible. Indecisive bosses are terrified of making a choice, because a choice means accountability. Proposals are requested in 3 different versions, only for them to schedule a meeting to decide when to schedule the next meeting. Perpetual analysis keeps them waiting for one more piece of data that will make the decision for them. Under their leadership, projects don't finish, they simply expire. Yet their hesitation is still driven by human fear, unlike the cold logic of the leader who sees you only as a row on a ledger. Numbers-only bosses have replaced their personality with a dashboard. Family emergencies and car breakdowns on the highway are completely irrelevant to their calculations. Metrics and key performance indicators are all that matter, especially when your output matches the target on their screen. Labor is viewed as a simple unit that converts coffee into revenue. Spreadsheets drive their management style, completely blind to the fact that morale and loyalty can't be captured in a bar chart. Now, just when you are ready to pack your bags and leave the corporate world forever, you might get lucky enough to encounter a rare exception. Good bosses act as a shield, not a whip. Blame is taken by them when things go wrong, and they pass the credit down when things go right. Understanding that you have a life outside the office, they will actively push you to log off when your work is done. Respect is the source of their authority, meaning they never need to remind you who's in charge. Errors are treated as lessons rather than crimes, allowing you the space to make mistakes and grow. People stay at companies they don't love because of these leaders, working for a salary that's just enough. Since these rare leaders are hard to find, most of us will spend our careers adapting to the difficult ones. We learn to read the silence of the absentee and survive the constant demands of the micromanager. Hostages to our paychecks, we defend the very systems that exhaust us. And just like those bank employees in 1973, we keep showing up every morning, shielding the people who hold us captive.